A female music executive at the top of her game walks away from it all to start a life-saving movement.
If you or anyone you love needs a hand, shine light on the darkness, speak on it, silence the shame.
Silence is the difference between treatment or pain, life or death. When you raise your voice, you silence the shame.
May is Mental Health Awareness Month. Depression and anxiety continue to climb. Many people suffer in silence, okay? That is where Shanti comes in, the founder and executive director of the nonprofit Silence the Shame, creating safe spaces where conversations about mental health, they can take place. It's so important. Good morning to you, Shanti. Thank you for being here on such an important topic.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Yes, good to see you.
Yeah, Silence the Shame, such a powerful movement. And I was reading about you, you lost your father to suicide when you were 7 months old. Then a best friend died by suicide in 2014. Was that the launching point for you to say, okay, I'm going to step away from the music industry and turn to mental health advocacy?
So it was, but also when I was at the height of my career, I was experiencing a lot of stress and anxiety and didn't really know where to place or put or how to properly deal with that stress. And so I moved back home to Atlanta. My mother had developed Alzheimer's. And after my best friend took her life, I actually became severely depressed. I blamed myself for a lot of that. And then that brought up a lot of the trauma from my dad. So in 2015, I had serious suicidal ideation and contemplated taking my own life. That's when I knew I needed to get help and I needed to start a movement to help others.
Wow. So when folks are watching this and they look at your story, what in that moment of deep depression and of needing help, how did you get it? Because some people don't have the strength to get the help that they need.
Great question. There were many mornings where I physically didn't have the strength to get out of bed. I didn't want to open up the blinds. And I got out of the house that night. I had counted up all the pills in my medicine cabinet because I knew if I had stayed, I probably would have taken those pills. And, a higher power above placed someone in my pathway and convinced me that night to call my sister. And she convinced me to call the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline, which is 1-800-273-TALK. And I also texted my pastor during that time of crisis. And oftentimes in the Black community, we're taught to just pray our problems away. But my pastor, Senator Dr. Raphael G. Warnock said, I'll pray with you, but you got to get help. You have to go to the doctor.
Yeah, that is so true. So, and that brings us to Silence the Shame, right? How do you then reach those people who are not willing to talk about it or don't have the resources like you have?
Oftentimes it's very difficult. We at Silence the Shame try to meet people where they're at, and that's through social media posting. Sometimes we'll do creative memes just to kind of like make it a little bit easier, right, to digest, because some people are still afraid of the topic mental health. We also go into churches and in the communities and have community conversations. Anything that we can do to kind of, like I said, touch people where they're at and to normalize the conversation.
Yeah, this has been a tough year. 2020 was an awful year for a lot of folks. Mental health rise right with the pandemic. Then we saw the racial tensions. Did you see more and more people reaching out to your organization because of that?
So many more, whether it was strangers, friends, or colleagues. We had so many people reaching out, and it was just an opportunity for us to reach back and try to help others. And I coined this new acronym called RAP, and it's being able to understand and process feelings that you don't recognize. So the R is for recognizing those unfamiliar feelings. The A stands for acknowledging them and then accepting them. And the P is for being able to process them through a licensed professional counselor. And so we lead a lot of people to resources throughout our website and a lot of other advocacy organizations across the nation.
Yeah, I mean, I love that you came here and that you were so open about your story. I've been pretty open here about some mental health struggles, anxieties, and depression, of my own. And it is hard to talk about, right? And so there has been that stigma for so long. It took me a long time to come to grips with what was actually going on in my mind. But I think the more you hear from everyday folks and even celebrities, which brings me to some of those endorsements that you had from Andra Day and Nick Cannon, right? That show people that it's a widespread problem. And so what are you doing on May 5th then?
So today is National Silence the Shame Day, even though it's Cinco de Mayo, and we are hosting our first ever A Brilliant Mind Gala, and it's featuring a lot of the celebrities that I worked with in the past, from the rapper and actor Common, Ronnie DeVoe from New Edition, Anthony Hamilton, Soul Icon, the artist Lecrae, Carrie Hilson. We also have appearances by the clothing designer Kenneth Cole and his Mental Health Coalition organization, Senator Raphael G. Warnock, and Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms from Atlanta. So please tune in. Go to our website, silencetheshame.com. It's free. It's going to be a night of music and mental health.
Oh, that's so fantastic. And I love how you rattled off so many of those celebrities who are supporting this, because it just shows you it doesn't matter where you are in life. Mental health issues can affect anyone, and you're doing something to help that. So
Anyone
thank
and
you,
everyone.
Shanti.
Thank you.
And
We
Shanti-
really appreciate that.
Oh gosh, and thank you for what you did. You know, stepping away from, I can't even imagine what that was like, from a high-profile executive role in such an amazing industry to help everyone with such an important issue. We applaud you for that. So
Yes.
thank you.
Thank you. I live a humble life now, and it's okay, but it's nice to be able to call on folks like Charlemagne the God or Michelle Williams and D Nice and have them support. So I'm truly grateful.
Well, that
just
shows
gotta-
the power of what you're doing.
Sorry, I just got to pick up a few of those names just dropped.
All right, Shanti, great work. Thank you so much. We'll be watching. Again, it's a free event. Get your ticket to Brilliant Mind Gala, taking place tomorrow night at 8 p.m.
Incredible, incredible work.